You're listening to Between Two Bridges, a business-to-business podcast. With your hosts, Anthony R. Destiny, Joe Ferrani, and Jerry Kenna. Interviewing entrepreneurs, business operators, and investors. This episode of Between Two Bridges is sponsored by Paymark Payroll. Payday is the most important day to your most important people, and payday is made easy at www.payyourpeople.com.
All right, we got another episode here. I guess your 2023 wrap-up show, if you will. I've had a few guests on in the past month or so, so I think we should touch on them. Joey and I went down to the north side. It's usually a good start to a story, but went and checked out, I guess you could call him a client or a guest, but checked out Matt Light's comedy show. I was impressed. And we talked a lot about this, but like his promotion skills and the way he puts himself out there, and to see him pack a building just based on his ideas and what's in his head was pretty cool.
Yeah, he's not hesitant to a lot of times I feel hesitant to do things, but man, he was like pretty much on point when he was on our show about what he was about to do. He did it. He came through. And then you noticed today, actually, he flipped the switch and he's promoting comics in Houston already. Mm-hmm. And it's like, man, this dude is on to the next thing. He's not like, I did it, I'm done, go back to work for paychecks. He's keeping it going, So
he's been down there a couple days, right? So
I don't even think he's there yet. I don't think he goes till February.
Yeah, that's right. He said he wasn't going to go down there until February.
Well, then the Steelers did what they did, so maybe he moved early.
Yeah.
Just because.
Mm. Yeah, full house. Did he fill the place up?
It was pretty full. I forget what the lady said the capacity was.
1,100, I think they had it set up for. So they didn't have the whole upper deck. I'm not real familiar with the indoor shows there because I always go when it's outside shows. But yeah, they had the bar upstairs, bar downstairs. We ran in the Jelly Roll.
We did.
So
that was really Jelly Roll?
I wish, but
okay.
Oh, it wasn't?
No, it wasn't. Looked a lot like him,
And I saw him man.
Later that night, I needed a savior.
Are you sure? They looked alike.
Yeah.
Maybe a couple too many icy lights.
Maybe.
There was a few. I think I was at my family's Christmas party before, so I was feeling no pain there at the Matt Light show. So.
Yeah, that's a good place to be.
I wore my grandmother's Christmas sweater.
It's perfect.
Yeah, I don't know how it fit me, or it didn't. I mean, I didn't know. I didn't care.
Matter.
Yeah, I guess it didn't matter. But yeah, I mean, it was a whole unique, to hear him talk about it and then just to kind of go see it.
Yeah.
It was like, man, this dude wasn't pulling anybody's leg.
Right.
Well, I think everybody thinks that being a stand-up comedian is just about getting up on stage and telling jokes and trying to be funny, but there's so much more to it. There's the promotion part of it, the selling yourself, the managing your time and trying to build your popularity, try to get something to go viral, try to book events, all while trying to come up with material to stay relevant.
So and one thing I did learn at the show, and I knew this from previous experiences, but me and our Destiny were heavy in a conversation, and the girl in front of us, just like any other Pittsburgher would do at a concert or a show, turned around and was like, "You two need to shut the fuck up." And I'm like, "All right, suspenders. I guess it's time." And we looked at each other, and I was like,
We sat down for 30 seconds.
Yes, and I'm thinking at this point, you know what you do? You need to just sit here and shut the fuck up. There's no
know your role. Yeah.
So, but yeah, we
took the advice.
Yeah,
shut up.
Know your role and shut the fuck up.
We sat there for a little bit and then got up because we knew we would be too rowdy for that. I've been to other comedy shows and have definitely not talked out and then You and I sat down and I was like, I feel like I'm at a concert. So we just...
It did have a concert vibe. He came out the Renegade,
He
right?
did.
Yeah.
He talked about getting the Lombardi replica, and like he dropped it. And then instead of like worrying that he dropped it, he just kicked it off the stage, which was fucking by far.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah. It made a thud.
Yeah.
I was like, man, he
That
was
poor
caught
guy.
in the moment.
That poor guy that sold it to him
Oh yeah.
was probably like, no.
Because remember he was talking about like rags, you gotta like hold it with like
Yeah.
gloves and it's
Yeah.
nickel.
And he
booted it.
Booted it
Yeah,
off
he
the
booted it.
stage.
Yeah. And they did air his first pitch,
Yeah.
so I was
High and outside.
high and outside.
Outside.
But he's on to bigger and better things. We'll see what happens with him, man. It's like you said, he's almost like a production manager.
Did you catch his video that he released? The I'm on a bus.
Yeah, that was funny
I'm
too.
on a boat parody
Yeah.
with the Pittsburgh bus. He's like, I'm on a bus, motherfucker. He's
Yeah,
standing
this
on the
whole-
bus on the north side. So
like
he's got a lot
Yeah.
of good ideas and obviously goes through with them, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's working hard, just trying to make it happen, just like any other business owner we talk to.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a different business, but it's still a business.
Yeah.
And then we had a franchise owner, so Mr. Scampone.
Yeah.
Making dough, slinging dough.
Slinging some dough.
But you also saw him diversify into real estate, right? I think he talked about getting his license as well. So it's,
Yeah.
I think the way he's set up, and you see him on social media buying property, and I think he's doing very well.
Yeah, I saw a couple pictures of the project he's working on now. It's turning out really nice. He's doing a good job. I think he's spending time and spending the right money and making the place that he bought. He bought in a neighborhood that I think is up and coming, but I think there's still a lot of landlords that are kind of half-assing it there and putting together shitty apartments, trying to cut corners, and he's not. It was pretty clear by some of the stuff I saw that he's putting together a nice place and should attract a good tenant and should be a good investment for him. So
Yeah.
I think the whole cutting corners thing just costs people more in the long run.
100%.
I mean, everybody we've had on
Fix it,
here,
right?
yeah, they're like, just do it right the first time. You don't have to fucking worry about it.
Yeah.
So he, what a unique story he has, you know, like what we
Yeah.
saw the comments. People were really into that episode. I was really into it. I mean, I think the kid's got the moon is his object, you know, like he could do whatever he wants to have that.
Yeah, I got a lot of positive feedback from that episode. A lot of people that know him but didn't know his whole story that reached out to me and expressed to me that they knew, they knew him, they knew that he owned the shop, they knew that he was into some other stuff like real estate, and that he worked hard but had no idea everything he had going on, and that the general consensus after listening to that episode is he's got a bright future ahead of him. He's going to work hard. He's going to be something. Yeah.
That leads us to, I mean, I just was listening to the Rocco episode, and
Yep.
he said like no matter what, he's going to outwork whoever.
Yep.
So that's kind of
Yeah.
seems to be a trend. Work hard, take chances.
He had a lot of good stuff. If you follow him on social, my man grinds. He's putting out great content. He also is killing it as a lawyer. So it's peak.
Yeah, it's a very impressive person there for sure.
Yeah, I was looking forward to that episode because I've known Rocco a long time, and when I shared his episode on Facebook, I said this, but we have and I said it during the episode. Our businesses are very similar. Being an accounting firm versus a law firm, our businesses are similar. And I can tell, and every time I'm with Rocco and we have a conversation, I think this, and sitting here next to him during the podcast was more of the same, where I'm like, we're going through the same trials and tribulations, just a little different, but we're dealing with the same thing. We're growing the same way. We're struggling the same way. It was interesting and inspirational for sure. Listening to his story and what he's accomplished, and he's smart, but he works his ass off. So yeah, it's definitely a good episode. If you haven't listened to it, it's definitely worth the time.
Yeah, I mean that leap he took, right? He said he was making a ton of money and then went to zero, for himself. So that takes guts.
Yeah, not
yeah.
only he did it, at the same time his wife did it.
Yeah, his wife did it
so
too.
it was like a family, like just taking chances at one time. And I guess, if you're gonna do it, you might as well do it all together.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You got to take
the
that
training
swing, I
wheels
guess.
off.
Yeah. So, and then we're excited about the people we have coming up. Right, we have a pretty good list. I think we're basically booked up through March. So it's
we've got some interest. It's funny, every episode we put out, I've got more people reach out to me like, hey, I'd like to be on your podcast. Can I get on that podcast? And it's exciting to see people that I'm watching grow really successful businesses reach out and want to be part of this, that we kind of thought up and thought, I don't know, let's see if it works. And it's kind of working.
Yeah.
I'm getting feedback. I had a guy text me that I didn't even know was listening. You know what I mean? Didn't know that he was paying any attention to this podcast at all. And he texted me after the Matt Light episode dropped. And he's like, dude, I've been listening to every episode, and my face hurts from laughing so hard at this episode. It's great. Just keep doing it. It's great content. So it's nice to hear that.
Yeah. I think it's crazy that we always have like notes in front of us, but we really don't. Other than the first couple, we didn't have a script. No. And we just like flow with it. And then it seems like no matter what, it always comes back to the same three things. Like there's 3 principles in business, no matter what you're doing. So I like to see that keep growing and see, maybe the beautician has the same theory, or maybe someone has a secret sauce, because we haven't found the secret sauce yet.
No, you're right. But I like the fact that we're not scripted and we're not sitting here with a list of questions, and it's not, trying to get answers in like little segments. I think that's what makes this kind of communication, this kind of broadcast
flow a little bit better.
Yeah, it's great.
Plus, none of us are like well versed in any of this shit, so like we'd probably fuck a script up anyway if we had it in front of us.
We're not actors. I just want to hear what people have to say.
Yeah.
Give people, I don't want to sit here and be like, listen, you have 30 seconds, and I want to know in your best time, in 30 seconds, give us the best 30-second spiel on how you started a business and got where you are. It's like,
right.
You're not ever going to get anything meaningful out of anybody. But just sitting and talking to somebody, it's good to hear what's going on, and that it's not always easy, because I'm sure there's people out there that are in the middle of, especially now, in the middle of some really hard times. That maybe listening to what was Rocco's story about when he bought something at the convenience store and he had that sign, that's when he knew it was the right thing.
The 777s.
The 777s. When you think, there's people out there right now that are ready to quit, and maybe there's something that they just need to kind of pay attention to. So,
or just people out there that are like thinking about doing it and they just won't take that leap.
Take the leap.
And I think that if they would follow along just 5 episodes that we have, it would. Not only have they been great guests to us, they've all opened themselves up. Like if you have a question, call them. I know we're focusing on these 3, but Mara was one that like put him out there. Like, hey, call me. Like he's a been there, done that kind of guy.
Yeah.
Like, so that's pretty cool for people. And there's hundreds of people out there that have made it through the trenches that want to tell somebody, don't do it this way. I'm not telling you can't, but I'll help you. I mean, I don't know that I've not hit that point yet to like give people guidance, but in a couple of years maybe I can. But it's important to because we don't really have that anymore. Like there used to be this, like the boys club. Everybody would go to the country club, and you had like these people. But now a lot of times people are real closed off. They don't want to tell you how to do things because they feel like you're gonna step on their toes. So like with these guys, they've all been open to it. So that's been pretty cool.
So we got year end, right? You talk about all this TikTok nonsense and Tesla and all the major things, but from like your tax standpoint, what do you see most where people are leaving money on the table that maybe they could take advantage of in these last couple weeks here?
Well, the biggest thing on everybody's mind right now is trying to save money for taxes. So it's that time of year where everybody's doing tax planning and kind of in panic mode, because they've got to get that money spent by the 31st. And, I've got a handful of clients that, let's face it, things are a little tough out there. So I've got some clients that the last thing they need to worry about is taxes. But I do have some clients out there that had really good years. So we're trying to figure out how to shield themselves from tax liability, whether it's spent money on equipment or vehicles or year-end bonuses, maybe pay some expenses for January, pay some things early kind of thing to try to get some bills paid, hold off on some billings if necessary, that kind of thing. So just try to control the revenue, none of which is even possible if you don't have any idea what your numbers are all year round and you're just kind of winging it. Then you have no fucking idea where you're at. And then you'll be real surprised whenever it's April 15th and you owe a shit ton of money and there's nothing you can do about it at that point. But right now, that's the biggest thing as far as, on the accounting and tax world right now, is trying to figure that out. There's a couple other things that are floating around out there. There's this new regulation from FinCEN that
I did see that. What's up with that, man?
So I guess, and I'm going to give you a real high level explanation of it. I actually had a pretty long conversation with Rocco about it because it was on his radar. We had a long talk about it, but basically it's a new registration that you have to do, an annual report, or a report rather, reporting requirement for every LLC or corporation in the United States. There's a handful of exemptions, like if you're a 501c3, like nonprofit, or if you're a large company, and it's something like $6 million. If you're over $6 million in revenue and you have over, I want to say it was like 20 employees or something like that, then you're exempt from it. But everybody smaller than that has to do it. And the whole idea is they're trying to eliminate money laundering schemes. Pennsylvania is not one of these, but there are states out there that will allow you to set up an LLC completely anonymously. So like your Montana, your Wyoming, you can set up an LLC there without any sort of name attached to it, publicly anyway. So there's issues where people will set up a company and then launder money through it. So what the feds are doing is they're trying to crack down on that. So in order to crack down on that, they're requiring everybody that has an LLC to file a report showing their beneficial ownership, meaning anybody that has actual ownership of the company or is in an employee situation where they have decision-making powers. And that's where it's kind of fuzzy, and that's where it seems like a lot of accounting firms and business owners are leaning more toward on their attorneys to do this work rather than do it themselves or hire their accountants to do it, because determining who actually qualifies as a beneficial owner is a little bit more complex than just like, well, who owns the company? So, but it's a big deal. If your LLC is already in existence as of December 31st of 23, you have all year to comply. So it's not like we have to rush and do it this week or anything like that. But if you set up a new LLC after January 1st, you have 90 days to file this report. And it's actually extended to 90 days. After 2024, it goes down to 30. And if you don't register by the time frame, then the penalty is $500 per day.
That's what I saw. And I was like, geez.
And if you have multiple LLCs, like, we have multiple companies, it's not total $500 per day. It's 500 days per LLC per day. So you could have, I don't know, 6 or 7 LLCs at this point.
Yeah.
We're talking
$3,000,
$3,000, $3,500.
How extensive is the reporting though?
Well, it depends.
Seems like it's pretty
basic.
basic.
Well, it depends. There's 3 different levels of it, and that's what I'm trying to work with Rocco about. There are a more complex one, and the government, they do this estimating where they tell you how much of a time burden it should be to complete the paperwork. And it's everything from like the simple one that says 90 minutes, but the most complex one, they say that it could take as long as 650 minutes to complete. Wow. And then the best part of it is that they tell you that in order to complete it, a reasonable amount of money it should be it should cost you for a professional to do it for you is like $56 an hour. I'm like, do you know an attorney that works for $56 an hour?
No.
I don't. You know what I mean? Wow. So it's like, I don't know where the fuck these people get these figures and where they think like we're still in the 1950s that attorneys work for $50 an hour. But
well, that's because every attorney's filing a tax return saying they're making $56 a fucking hour.
Everybody, that's not something you can do as an accountant. You need everybody needs a lawyer at this point.
So that's what I'm trying to figure out is if the simple ones we can do it. From what I was told, is that I guess there's accounting firms that are leaning toward the attorneys doing it because there's insurance companies for like our errors and omission insurance that are telling accounting firms that like this is legal work. We're not covering you. Yeah. So don't even start it. Yeah. So that's where I'm trying to talk to my insurance guy and be like, so can I do this? And I don't want to get myself jammed up where if we make a mistake, I'm not going to be covered. But I don't know. It's and then it's something like you only have to do it one time unless you change something. But it's something as like inconsequential as like one of the beneficial owners moves. You've got to file another report within 30 days to say that person moved, or else it's $500 a day.
Yeah, they're just tracking everything.
They're tracking everything, and I don't know. There's talk that this won't last. It'll die. They're not going to actually go through with it because the government does this. They do it all the time. This whole Venmo thing where they made it so that everything's $600. They're going to start sending 1099s. It's almost like the government like releases this stuff and then goes, let's see what they say.
Yeah.
And then everybody loses their freaking mind.
Well, instead of the compliance officer for these things, why don't they get the fuck to work and release the ERC money?
Yeah, exactly. That they've been holding back.
Yeah, hostage.
Exactly. Because of people that were scumbags and set up fake companies to steal ERC. And the thing that cracks me up is that it seems so obvious. Like years ago, I had a conversation with an IRS investigator because of all the identity theft issues that the IRS has, where somebody will, accounting firms are subject to it all the time, where somebody will hack into an accounting firm and steal Social Security numbers and then file fake tax returns, right? And basically steal the tax refunds. 9 times out of 10, 99 times out of 100, they never touch your credit, they never do anything, but they just take a quick tax return. They put together a bullshit tax return with like huge credits, basically steal a big tax credit, and then they disappear. The money disappears, right? And then the taxpayer goes and tries to file their tax return, and it gets rejected because somebody already filed for you. Happens more than you'd like to know. But I had a conversation a few years ago with an IRS agent, and he told me something like, and actually I got an article that talked about it, that there's some ridiculous amount of money every year in fake refunds that go to like Russia. Like there's one address in Russia that got like $20 million worth of refunds. You'd think somebody would have noticed.
Yeah, not a very good investigator.
Like all the shit that my clients get hassled for, and Pennsylvania comes, well, I don't know if that union dues was accurate. I don't know if we're going to give you that $200 refund, but let's send $20 million to fucking Russia.
They do that like if you do online gambling or any kind of like Fox bet or something, and you put your card in. PNC Bank's calling you the next morning like, hey, were you $1.29 at McDonald's? Was that you? Yeah, that was me. $20 million to Russia. No, that wasn't me. Yeah. That wasn't me. All right. But yeah, I guess they gotta, like you said, they're like throwing it out there to scare people too, like a scare tactic a little bit.
Yeah, I think a lot of times the government does that with these new regulations. They float it out there to see what kind of reaction they get out of the public, and that like the Venmo thing with the $600 limits, they've backed off of that. They pushed it back another year. I wouldn't be surprised if that just disappears. Like years ago, they did that with 1099 reporting. The law states and has always stated that if you pay a contractor or anybody, like any sort of outside services consultant, more than $600 in a year, you're supposed to 1099 them. unless they're a corporation. And the reason they do that is if you go to Home Depot and spend $1,000, they don't want you to have to go send a 1099 to Home Depot.
Right.
It's ridiculous. Like the administrative nightmare that it would be for you to send out a 1099 to every corporation you spend over $600 is unreasonable to a small business. So they don't do it. Years ago, probably, I don't know, it's probably 10 years ago, the IRS floated that they wanted everybody to 1099 everybody. And no matter if it was over $600, you had to send a 1099. Corporation or not, didn't matter. And I remember reading that thinking, you got to be kidding me. Like the amount of work. And you're going to go to Home Depot and be like, I need you to fill out this W-9 so I can 1099 you. Like, it's fucking ridiculous.
I deal
But
with
it
that
just
W-9 all
disappeared.
the time.
Disappeared.
People are constantly asking, like, I'm like, dude, I just cleaned towels for you. Like, relax. Like, just send me my check. They're like, oh, we need a W-9.
Yeah, because they got a 1099.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what is the cap for 1099?
$600.
Still?
Yep. If it's over 600. But the problem is there's exemptions with this online sales stuff. So if you sell through Etsy or eBay, they don't send you a 1099. eBay doesn't send you a 1099 if you sold $600 worth of stuff on eBay. You have to hit a different threshold. I think it's like $25,000.
I'm assuming that's why my landlord's never required one. They just don't need it. Because they have so many properties. I mean, they're not just here in the States. They're all everywhere.
Your landlord?
Yeah.
Well, you should be probably 1099.
You probably 1099 them, and I don't even know about it.
Yeah, you probably do.
Now that I think about it.
Yeah, just probably a Jenna thing. She probably handles that for you. But yeah, there's certain. It's $600, and then there's also things like if they're an attorney, you're supposed to always send one. If it's a landlord, you're supposed to always send them, and things like that. But a lot of people don't. But the IRS can penalize for that. So.
It's kind of getting to the point with them though, like, do your fucking job.
Yeah.
And then come tell me I'm doing my job wrong, because it's getting ridiculous. They, I mean, we've seen it like in the last 5 years. Hey, you didn't file this. Oh wait, you filed it. We're gonna waive the penalty. It's like, well, no, you sent me a letter to waive the fucking penalty because you fucked up. Like, where, you know.
Oh yeah, here it is.
Yeah, where's the?
Found it.
You know, send me a letter on like a bad month like July when I'm slow, telling me I owe $7,000. And then like 3 weeks later, send me, oh, our bad. It's like, where the fuck? Where's the penalty on your end?
I like the ones my clients will send in. We'll get a letter saying they owe money or something. We'll send in paperwork saying no, they don't. Here's the paperwork showing that they don't. And then 2 months later, they'll get a letter back that says, we received your response. We need another 60 days to review your paperwork. We'll be in touch. And then 2 months later, you get another letter saying, we're still reviewing your response. We need another 60 days. And I've had clients that have legit gotten like 5, 6, 7 of those letters. And they're like, I'm so glad that every 2 months I get this same letter that says that they're still working on my shit.
But the first one said that they owed because it was wrong.
Yeah, it was wrong. Now you're reviewing it. And there's still a possibility that after all these 60-day windows that they're going to come back and be like, no, yeah, you're still wrong. And here's all the penalties and interest for the year that it took us to tell you that.
Right.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, it's horrible.
It's a mess.
It's horrible.
I guess you had a conversation about me today. Was that yesterday?
I did?
Yeah. Talked to my father-in-law.
Yeah, that was yesterday.
Yeah, he said I got a chance to talk with Jerry. I'm like, everybody knows Jerry.
Yeah.
Y'all are pretty popular, man.
Yeah. How much of that are you allowed to talk about on the air?
I don't know, man. If you look at the contract, probably none of it.
Yeah, probably none of it.
Probably $110,000.
Yeah.
I guess if we don't talk about the physical address.
Are they going to accept your new LOI?
We were waiting to hear. So.
Yeah, it'll only take them 2 months to get back to you.
I know. We're going to be, maybe we'll close by next Christmas.
Yeah.
They'll send you a letter in 2 months that
they'll sneak something else in there.
Yeah, another $100,000.
Another $100,000 will sneak in there.
I just think it's funny because, like, to me, small business owner, right? I just the biggest word I see all the time is like, we want to see that he has skin in the game, and it's like, how about taking a home equity line on my house, not renewing my fucking lease, and pretty much going broke to get it? Like, that's all the skin you need, motherfucker. Like, it's like
that's everything you got.
And
did they start the process on the home equity?
I don't know. I think we kind of backed off whenever that LOI came in.
I think we should start that process anyway.
Yeah.
get
We
that.
were trying to
party
pull them
started.
both the same.
Yeah, I think we should start that one because that way it's existing debt. That'll be better for you, I think. I'll talk to them about that tomorrow. But
We keep meaning to have Jason Ross on this show.
yeah, he's on this list.
All right.
He wants to do it. But yeah, like Anthony was saying, we've gotten a nice little list here of people, and we're actually to the point where we are actually booked out to April.
Oh.
Yeah, it's
All
working.
right.
It's pretty good for
Just
a small
a heads up,
idea,
Sarah.
you know?
I'll be busy Wednesday, Thursday nights, once a week.
Yeah, once
from
a
now
week.
to April.
Just once a week. Yeah, I had 2 people reach out to me today that wanted to be on it, and I think it's every time we drop an episode, somebody reaches out and talks about how much they're enjoying it, and it's
Ball
good content.
rolling. The ball's rolling.
It's rolling. Somebody told me yesterday that the average podcast only lasts 11 episodes.
Well,
So,
that
I think
puts us
we're
at 10.
I think we're at 7.
Okay.
I think this episode was 7, and then but we already have 8 recorded, and then we record another one soon here.
Yeah.
So we'll be at 9. So I think we're gonna hit 11,
Yeah.
and then we're gonna keep on rolling.
Yeah. We got to get
It's working.
We haven't even had to take our clothes off yet.
No,
We're at
it's
11.
probably gonna hurt
You've
us.
been
if-
pretty tame, Joe.
yeah.
Yeah, I have been pretty tame. I thought I was going to get a little more loose with Matt Light in the room, but, you know, he did have some funny things, but he really got business oriented. And when he hit us with the surviving cancer, I was like, well, I guess I'll keep my shirt on.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, his show, on the other hand, I did not remain as calm.
Did you take your shirt off?
No, I kept my shirt on. I was cold as shit.
Oh, yeah.
So, but you know, he was saying about tequila. Was it Tequila Cowboys?
Yeah.
He's like, they'll just throw you out for no reason. Well, apparently McFadden's won't let you in for no fucking reason. I stood in line and they were like, "Yeah,
I've
you're
never
not
been
coming
kicked
in."
out before I went in, Joe.
Dude,
So
and-
you got me
I know.
there.
And I was by myself with no crowd, just miserably cold in line, like crossing my arms,
Just
with my
Ubered
ID.
there.
And like when I got up there, I just handed my ID like this, and I do think it was my concealed weapons permit.
Oh.
So it was kind of like I was like, oh shit, and then gave him the other one. He's like, yeah, I'm just not gonna let you in. And I'm like, huh. But like at that point, I took
I'm
it.
a 40-year-old man. Like,
Yeah, I think that's what it was. Is like I had a lot of years on a lot of people there. You know, I looked like I was probably gonna shoot the place up when I got inside. They were just probably doing what was
and you
best
low
for
key
me.
just handed him your concealed carry permit.
And then like I really
I'm
didn't
not
argue.
trouble, I swear.
Like in the past, I would have been like, "What the fuck do you mean?" You know. But I was kind of like looking around, and I was like, "I probably don't need to be in there right now."
You probably like, I get it, bro.
Yeah, bro,
it's fair.
you nailed it.
It's fair.
Good job. Kudos to the door guy at McFadden's. Fucking
Shout out to
deserve a
that
raise.
guy.
Yeah, shout out to that.
So where'd you go from there?
He saw me.
Back to you.
Oh, okay.
And then we headed. I was in a Tesla, dude.
And a Tesla.
Yeah, Uber, Tesla.
Seems
Unpractical.
giant waste of money to do that, right?
What?
Ubering in a Tesla.
Yeah. I mean, I guess can they write that off? Why isn't everybody driving Lamborghinis around if you could?
Because you have to have a four-door to be an Uber driver.
Okay. There's no
Although if my Uber pulled up,
Uber
it
sports
was a
car.
Lamborghini, I'd sit in the front without a problem.
I always thought, yeah, unless it's like a bunch of people. I always thought it'd be fun to Uber. I've seen videos online about like guys that get like Charger Hellcats.
Just let him
And
rip.
then, yeah, and then pull up and it's like blah 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 blah. You know what I mean?
And then when they get in, just do a 90.
Yeah.
Send it.
Yeah,
1 star.
just go crazy. Yeah, make sure you get 1 star.
Just, I mean, I've seen the videos where like they pretend like they're bombed when they pick them up. Like they're just swinging bottles and hanging out. And I'm like, that's pretty fucking. I'd be like,
I
we're here to
Ubered
party.
for 3 months or so.
Yeah.
Bought my wife's engagement ring with it, so it worked out.
I did it before.
You know,
I did it before.
it's a grind.
Yep.
I wouldn't do it full time, but
Me either. Actually, I did when I did it. I had some fun with that shit. There were some fun nights. I Ubered on a Halloween night one time.
probably crushed
Dude.
it. Yeah.
Crushed it, and all I did was I hung out like around like the South Side and like just took people to like Halloween parties and stuff.
Yeah.
Dude, it was probably one of the most fun evenings I've had. Like just people that were bombed, all dressed up, and It was hilarious.
Man,
But
it's definitely a swing from when we were young and had to get a cab.
oh yeah,
If you were lucky, you could,
Yeah.
yeah. That's the thing. You call
like
a cab.
yeah.
It didn't necessarily know if it was actually ever going to show
I had to
up.
get home from Mount Washington to Verona one time and just gave up. Passed out by the zoo. I made it to the zoo though.
Dude, I got a cab one time. We were down in Station Square, and I must have just been hammered. Got in this cab and was like, "Take me to Oakmont. Just I don't care where. Just take me to Oakmont. I don't care. Just get me across the Harlem Bridge."
It's a square mile. I'll figure it out.
Dude,
from there.
drop me off in Oakland.
Oh no.
I'm like, bro, you can't leave me here. This is no good. And I was dressed up like freshman 15, so I had a tramp stamp on, clip-on earrings, high heels, dude. I'm ripping these earrings off. I'm like, get back here right now, you son of a bitch. It was just a bad situation. Yeah, it was not the right place to be.
They used to be able to run the meter up on you. Now you agree to the number before. Yeah, now you get.
I think they still can.
I don't
No?
know. Is it fixed when you get? It's a fixed price when you get in, right?
Is
You're
it?
agreeing to.
I always thought it went up if it, you got stuck in traffic or if they.
Yeah, no, because the last cab I was in, we went from actually Miami or Fort Lauderdale to Miami, and they had a running meter in there.
Yeah, I was thinking more Uber, but I don't know.
Yeah, Uber I think's fixed. You agree to the price.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, and then if you want to tip more, it's more.
yeah. In the world of tipping,
But they do the rates.
Yeah.
They hit you with the rates. So if you're at a concert or a ball game, and
yeah. Back when I Ubered a little bit, dude, that they called it surging. Dude, you could go out and surge time. You could make some serious freaking money.
after a Pirate game,
After a Pirate game or a
any
concert,
you could.
you could just park right in the red
5X.
zone 5 times fucking rates and shit. You move somebody 3 blocks, make $40. It was a good day. That was a good time.
There's a lot of side hustles out there.
Yeah.
Gigs, I guess. But tipping is out of control, man.
Tipping's out of control.
I think the grocery store asked me for a tip.
Yeah.
And it's like, what is going on
no,
here?
I'm thinking about letting my girls put a jar up. It's what the fuck?
You might
Everybody
as
else.
well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're doing just as much as anybody else.
Yeah.
Do you
You
get
know?
tips often?
My delivery drivers get tips.
Yeah.
The customers are nice. They bring chocolates and stuff, but on a day to day, no one really tips.
Yeah.
But I feel like my girls are doing all that work, and
Do you feel they should?
no, not for me specifically, but for my girls,
Yeah.
I've had situations where they find big money in the pocket, and the
Yeah.
customer should probably tip in that regard.
Yeah.
But everywhere is going to that route, and it's well,
So, do
Do you get
if I
tipped, Jerry?
No.
For a good tax
Occasionally,
return?
I'll have somebody that'll I don't need change. Like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But
he's got a closet full of booze, though, bro.
yeah, I do. I got clients that are like, here's this bottle of bourbon. I don't know if they think I'm going to not charge them, but I'm like, okay, thanks. It's $150. But listen, I go to a restaurant and I go to most of the time if I go to restaurants, I go to one of the local places. So I know all the servers. I try to tip well, especially this time of year.
Yeah.
Throw more money in there, write Merry Christmas on the receipt. Those people, they've become friends, right? Go to a local coffee shop, somebody makes you coffee, throw a tip in. That's all good. But do you know where I have a problem with it? You know where I have
Where is the
fucking
rub?
problem where it just rubs me the wrong way is when I go to Heinz Field and I pay $26 for a fucking Miller Lite, and they're like, you can just push 15, 20, or 25% for the tip, and I'm like, you opened a can for me.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna give you 15% of this $26 beer. What the hell world am I living in right now? I don't understand.
Yeah, because you think about
That's
it,
one of
if
them.
you go down and you have 2 drinks, 2 beers at a bar, I usually was $1 or $2 a beer.
Yeah.
You're at $3 for that tip right there.
Yeah, dude, it's so much money.
Yeah, and you
When
don't
you're-
stick around. At least stick around. We'll talk. We'll bullshit. Tell you
Yeah.
how bad my day was at work.
Do you tip when you pick up food? If you drive there and pick it up, do you tip?
It depends on where.
Okay.
It depends. If it's one of the local places, then yeah, every time. But dude, there's so many places that I find myself tipping because I'm like, I feel like an asshole if I don't tip something because the machine says I should tip them. You know what I mean? It's this
Right.
world, this
And
new
If
world.
I'm tipping
we're
cash
living.
in that little jar, I won't put it in there until you're fucking looking.
You gotta.
I'm like, dude,
Or-
I'm getting all
You
the
do
credit.
have to
You gotta
I'm
hit
like,
the jar. You got to hit the jar.
I want every ounce of fucking credit for that tip. But I mean, I get it. But like, I also have always looked at it like, you know, maybe the restaurant owners have gotten away with murder for all these years, paying their employees a low salary and then tips for making up for it, so they didn't have to worry about it. So like, why in that business does he not have to pay his payrolls down low in that end of it? Where like, if you're a manufacturing company, you have to pay every one of your employees, and nobody's tipping on the other end of that product you're building. You know?
Yeah, it's kind of a weird system that we've developed here.
Go to a foreign country, they look at you strange if you try to tip.
Yeah, and they all make a
it's
full rate.
insulting.
They make a full rate whenever at a restaurant when they're serving you.
And
they make a full.
I would hope that we get there someday. Like, I would rather go in and order a salad that's $28 than and just we're good here.
You know what's weird though is that, you know, there's certain ratios that there's always when you have a small business that you have to try to abide by. So like a restaurant, typically in a restaurant, if your food costs are about 30%, your labor costs are 30%. If you can keep those two numbers at 30% or less, not combined, 60% combined, 30% each or less, you can be profitable.
Right.
Most of the time. And it's like clockwork. It's science. I mean, to the point where your food costs for 1 month hit 31%, you lost money. It's crazy.
Which is probably a big problem right now for people.
Huge.
Yeah, I just saw
which is why prices are going up. But what the weird thing about it is that if you make those servers all get, you know, $10, $15 an hour, that's going to make that 30% go through the roof. So food costs or the revenue, the prices of the food items is going to go crazy. And that 30% rule isn't just restaurants. I mean, that's a lot of businesses that operate on a 30% labor cost. Yeah. That's pretty typical.
I've always tried to get to 33. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, and it all depends on other fixed costs too. Like your rents are high because you're right on a main drag, so your rent's high. So that has to, you know,
hurt.
Yeah, that hurts too. So you have to watch that shit, and you can, you know, that's where that 30% rule doesn't always work because the idea is 30% for labor costs, 30% for food costs, 30% for fixed costs, 10% for you, right? That's the whole idea. But, you know, if rent is $7,000 a month, then sometimes it's harder.
Rent,
you got
problems.
You gotta figure out a way to increase your revenue to make up for those fixed costs.
And utilities are going to shit.
Yeah, I mean everything.
I was in an establishment over in the Waterworks. I guess they're not a sponsor. The Walnut Grill. And they have a sign up behind their counter that says they've added a 3% charge to your check for whatever. No, for due to cost of everything going up. And that if you don't want to pay it, you can tell them you don't want to pay it and they'll take it off.
Wow.
I'm like, why didn't you just change your prices?
Yeah, so who would pay it?
Yeah, it's because the sign's this big, and you're drinking at the bar, and you don't know that you missed that sign this big behind the front counter.
Just say so, and we'll take 3% off your bill.
Like, it's like it just seemed like a sleazeball tactic. So if you're going to Walnut Grill, I got a coupon code for you. It's called "Take the fucking 3% off." There's a coupon code for you. So. I don't know. I think sometimes owners think they're like, they just get so frustrated with politics and everything that they're like, fuck, I got to do something to protect myself.
So just raise your prices.
Right.
I have this conversation with clients so much right now because everybody's afraid to raise their prices. But, you know, we're living in a world where you really can't not. You have to. And I'm sorry.
Yeah. I'm a huge component of raising prices.
You have to.
And if you look at my incoming numbers, like you just go to my pieces this year. If I wouldn't have raised my prices aggressively over the last 2 years, I'd be out of business right now. There's no doubt in my mind. There's just no doubt in my mind. You have to.
Or you won't. You have to just look at your labor. Okay? Yeah. You want to maintain your staff. You want to keep your staff happy. You have to pay them.
Unfortunately, yes.
You have to pay them, and you have to pay them competitively, or they will leave, or you will only be able to hire shitbags that won't do any good work for you, right? So you have to pay people. And in order for you to be able to maintain good service and continue to pay people is to have prices to do so.
That reflect it, yeah.
You know, it's not like you're raising prices just so that you can live it up.
Right. I always say that. Like, I'm like, I have a Kia parked outside, like, in my store. Like,
Well, let's not get ahead. Let's not get crazy.
but like, you have multiple clients. It's not like you're passing the buck on every.
Yeah.
But like,
Multiple
to me, it's
companies.
like these people, my customers, they don't bitch about prices. They really don't. I mean, very
Yeah, it's
few and
just-
far between. And the ones that do, they're normally like not that good at customers anyway. And because the other ones see me every day when they walk in, like I'm either at the counter or in the back. They see me face to face. You know, 60% of our customers on home delivery. You're not getting anything delivered to your house for less than $5 nowadays. Like, it's just not the way it works. So like, I can't come to your house and do a shirt for $2.25. That shirt has to be $5. It's just the way it has to be. And I think when I bought the cleaners, we were like $1.85 a shirt. And it's like, if I'd have stayed there, I would have been closed. I definitely wouldn't have made it through COVID. And we definitely wouldn't be around now. You know, it's just, you have to raise your prices.
That's key, man. I mean, your prices literally kept you in business, you're saying. And, like, I deal with it sometimes, too. I mean, maybe you don't, but people expect things for free. It's, you know, my friends and family want stuff for free. And it's like, I'm trying to make a living here, too, off of this.
Oh,
I
I
didn't,
still have
you
it.
know, it's...
That's the biggest thing I've noticed in my neighborhood is like where I moved is like everybody in my neighborhood gets it. They work. They're all like working families. But like I would do something and I'd be like, don't worry about it. And they're like, you know, no, I pay my way. I need to pay you. And I'm like, that's pretty crazy because like I'm just trying to like kind of fit in and get in where I fit in with my new neighbors. And they're like, no, you did the work. I'll pay you. And I'm like, that's cool. Like I'm fine with getting paid for it too, you know.
Yeah.
But they don't expect, like, good people don't expect something for nothing. It's always the people that are like, this dude will hook me up, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still shocked Jerry charges me to do my taxes. I'm fucking floored by this. Floored by this.
You haven't seen that new engagement letter yet, huh?
No. Don't fucking send it to me.
All right, I'll just adjust the prices instead. You won't even notice anything.
I put in a 3% clause.
Yeah. Can I get a promo code, bro?
Yeah. Take 3% off.
What are you going to do? I mean, these buildings don't fucking pay for themselves. These
That's right.
Corvettes don't fucking pay for themselves.
Yeah.
Dude, sending engagement letters. I'm
The
fucking-
Corvette has nothing to do with my account.
I want a drawing for who gets to ride shotgun with you.
Oh,
Like, we want a raffle.
You don't have to raffle. I'll take you for a ride.
I know. I want to go first, though. No, Vinny's first.
Vinny's first.
Vinny's first. Are you going to go get it? Or are they, like, will you go to, where do they make them? Kentucky?
Bowling Green. No, I thought about it. They offer museum delivery. So if you go down there, the assembly plant and the museum are like right across the street from each other. And they have a museum delivery thing. It's like, it used to be like $1,000. Now it's like $1,500. But basically what they do is they build your car. You go to your dealership. You do all the paperwork. You pay for it. And then instead of them packing it up and shipping it to your dealer, they take it across the street and they pull it into the museum and they rope it off. And they have like a big ceremony for you, and it's like they make it a pretty big deal. They take you on a plant tour and a museum tour, and you get like VIP treatment for the day. It's pretty badass. And when I was down there for a tour this summer when we had our motorcycle trip, and I got to see what they do, and I'm like, this is freaking cool. And I thought if the timing works, I was going to do that because what I kept thinking is I wanted to fly down with Vinny and then drive home with him. Because he would be like, I mean, that you're freaking 9 years old, you're going to go ride shotgun from Kentucky back to Pittsburgh in a brand new Corvette.
I mean,
Doesn't get
I'm
much better.
staring 40 in the face and I want to ride in it.
Yeah.
Wait, so is it like a conflict of interest with Vinny's schedule? Because, like, I'll
No. So the problem, there's a couple problems.
I'll be like pointing at people on the highway. Like,
Joey and I will go.
So I'm in.
We'll stop
No.
at the casino.
So
and
there's
then
there's a couple things. So first of all, the car is going to show up sometime January, February. So I'm not driving it home in the winter. So that's one. Two, they won't let you do a plant tour unless you're 13 or older. Vinny's 9. So I won't be able to do that part of it, which I think that's a big part of it. That's when I was down there, we did a plant tour. We also did the museum tour. The plant tour was freaking awesome. And then the third thing is they just announced that they shut down all plant tours until further notice, which means they're working on something in there they don't want the public to see.
right. So in 4 years, Vinny will be 13. And whatever they're working on there,
That's be
you'll
next.
buy.
Yeah.
And then you can do it then.
Yeah, we'll do it at some point. But so the timing didn't work out, and that's the problem, dude. You're at the mercy because you have no idea. Like I put my deposit down in November of 22.
Yeah.
Like you have no idea when your number's coming up.
And now you're getting a 2024.
So, but yeah, the order went in, and I got an email today that they accepted my order. So
Nice.
they're building it, dude, or they're scheduling the build, I guess, at this point. So
Awesome.
pretty exciting.
So, let me see this list. Am I allowed to talk about this list?
I don't know. I mean, I
Jesus,
don't.
you write like
I
a
think it's
fucking
kind
accountant.
it's kind of a secret on who's coming next.
we
But
gotta
we've got.
leave, let's leave some intrigue.
I mean, I can tell you that
Talk
we've got
about
a
the
lot of different
industries, I guess,
industries. We do have some more real estate people coming up. We have somebody that reached out that is in the automotive industry, which will be fun. Finance industry. We've got a bunch of different things here, man. It's some cool companies, restaurant owner. That's going to be interesting, to say the least.
I'm kind of curious to see like where they go, like because like I said earlier, we always end up like in that same circle. So like it's got to be the same for everybody. If you're still doing it, if you've been doing it, or you're got through those first like 5 years, there's no turning back. That's one of the things like with Rocco is like he was in it forever and then kind of just was like,
Peace.
fuck it. And I'm like,
Hard left.
dude, hard left, like, fuck it. Like,
And it worked, man. He crushed it.
Yeah, I mean, we talked with other guests, and I couldn't even imagine selling my dry cleaners, but, like, I guess if the number's right,
Yeah.
you know, and, you know, I guess a lot of times it's more the person's heart's not in it anymore.
Yeah.
So now you're doing something you hate.
Do you ever think about building, having a business when you started your business, and I think a lot of people that start businesses, and maybe we didn't do this because I think both of our businesses, or all of our businesses, we kind of started with the idea of it being our life, right?
Yeah.
But a lot of people start businesses with the intent to sell that business.
Right.
And it's just a different mindset. But when you stop and take a look at your businesses from that side, the way you build that business is very, very different.
Right.
I'm kind of looking at things like that now, and like we spun off the payroll business, and trying to make more. Not that I'm in any rush or anywhere close to deciding to actually sell anything, but eventually I would like to.
Yeah, and I've been in positions like where people want to sell, and they're so far from in a position to sell at that moment that even if you would say, I'll give you $100,000 for your business today, they couldn't say yes or no to that because they don't know what they have.
Right.
So if you start looking at it as like, maybe I would sell, let's build it to sell it. You don't have to sell it, but let's build it to sell it. Let's quit taking so much money out of this business and kind of leave it there and structure it better. And instead of like, this is my business and I'm stealing all the money from it kind of concept,
Yeah, well, I'll tell you one thing that I've learned, and I'm in a unique position because I get to see the finance side of everybody else's business, and I get to see the inner workings of other people's businesses, not just mine, right? And right now, what's real, and maybe it's not just right now, maybe it's just this is the way the world is, but if you're trying to sell a business, the biggest thing right now is recurring revenue, right? Subscriptions, just like for you, honestly, if I'm looking to build a dry cleaning business to sell, it's not counter sales, it's home delivery, it's subscriptions, it's people that are consistently every month, every week, whatever, spending money and having you pick up and deliver, and having a record of that, which you do, right? But being able to go to a buyer and say, hey, listen, this is my top 300 home delivery customers. Between those top 300, they made, $500,000 last year or whatever.
Yeah.
That's very, very, very sellable.
Yeah, our industry is so antiquated and old.
Yep.
And it's gonna change. I'm one of the youngest guys in the business right now in our area by a long shot. And it's gonna change. The physical locations of dry cleaners are gonna go away. You're gonna get it dropped off and picked up, or you're gonna go they actually have kiosks now where you can go 24/7 self-automated. You just can't afford to sit around waiting for people to bring stuff to you. You got to go get it. I mean, that's in any business.
Yep.
You can't sit at Home Depot waiting for a guy to come in and be like, "What's up, man? Oh, I got to get a hot water heater. Hey, let me install it." No, those guys advertise. They're out there.
Yep.
They're waiting. They're telling 1,000 people, "Hey, if your hot water heater goes, I'm here to replace it."
Yep.
So,
build recurring revenue, and you can get multiples of your revenue per year.
And offers.
No, I mean if you're doing $1 million a year worth of home delivery dry cleaning, you might be able to get somebody to come in and give you $3 or $5 million for that business.
Right. Because the other way, if you have the retail location in the store, what you're doing is you're selling someone a job.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
They're not going to want to come in and be like, "All right, well, you made this. I'm going to pay for this job like I did." I mean, that's kind of what,
Exactly.
So, but we're young yet.
Yep.
We got a long way to go.
We'll document it for everybody.
That's right. That's what we're here for.
My one employee, she said she's got about 10 years left. So I got about 10 years to figure out what the fuck I'm going to do.
There you go.
We got our 4 days to figure this out.
Yeah. So I think I said that one of the guys that worked for me one time, I said, "I'll tell you what," I said, "for all the shit that I go through, in 5 years, if I'm saying these same problems, I'll fucking quit. I'll just quit. I'll walk away and quit. Because if you're not changing anything and you're still bitching about people calling off and the rent being high, what the fuck are you doing? You just became an old guy that's just bitching all the time."
Yep.
Right.
So,
Well, what do you think?
I think that's 2023, man.
2023.
I think we're all 39, right?
39.
So I don't know where that time went.
Next year's a big year for us.
yeah, I really wish we were filming this December before COVID.
Yeah.
Because you have all these.
that record.
Yeah, you're trying, because I have it. I was in the Dry Cleaning Laundries magazine, my snapshot of what I thought 2020 would look like.
Oh.
And I'm full of wind, piss, and vinegar. And March 2nd, they were like, "You ain't going to do none of that.
Yeah.
None of that's going to happen."
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so,
Yeah.
it was, I kept the magazine article for that reason. It's like a forever time capsule of my life to realize how bad it was. It was fucking terrible.
Yeah. Well,
So, hopefully 2024 is not like that.
yeah. Well, gentlemen, here's to 2024.
Absolutely.
Let's do a good year.
It's an election year.
Let's see what happens.
Get out and vote.
That's right.
If you want to be on the show, reach out to one of us as well.
Yep.
We'll do a little self-promotion there. But looking forward to it.
Yeah. And we're going to take on some sponsors for 2024, too.
Yeah, if you want to sponsor our show, we'll it gives us some freedom to say more
I think
stuff.
Dora Cleaners will sponsor for the home pickup and delivery aspect of
There
it.
you
There you go.
So I'll put something together. We might know a guy.
Yeah.
Alrighty, thanks everyone.
Thanks, guys.
All right, guys. Take it easy. Happy
cut that
holidays.
I was like, "Thanks, guys." Sounded like the fucking.
Nate got that. I'll top it over it.
Thank you for listening to Between Two Bridges, a business-to-business podcast. Find and follow us on your preferred podcast streaming platform. Like and subscribe, and leave us a rating and review. You can join us socially on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. Yes, we still call it Twitter. You can email the show at info@betweentwobridgespodcast.com. Until next time, make it till you rake it.